And the first movie that we're going to be talking about today was the critically acclaimed film Groundhog Day. Now, Jackson, would you like to tell people about Groundhog Day? This is selected by our Patreon member, Tutbot.
It was, in fact, selected by our Patreon member, Tutbot. And I'd love to talk about Groundhog Day. This movie is basically, you guys know the phrase, Groundhog Day. Anyways, this movie basically is just some, dickhead news reporter, and he realizes he's in some time loop where he just keeps repeating the days over and over again. He keeps just, learning a ton about how he's doing this. He's, experimenting with, breaking the law, killing himself, doing all this shit. A lot of it is just him trying to court women, I assume. And then he finally is like, this is boring, I'm going to try being a good person. So he starts to try to better himself, he's learning the piano, learning all these skills, helping people out throughout the day, trying to save the life of this homeless person. And then he ends up being a genuinely good person in the end. He changes himself after who knows how long he was stuck in that loop. And then ends up with the girl in the end. Baby, let's go! And that's basically Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
Nico, how hot was our main female protagonist?
She was alright. She was serviceable for what she needed to accomplish.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in general, I thought this was a pretty nice, wholesome movie. I liked the idea of living out the same day over and over again. I thought that was fairly entertaining. I don't think this guy would have done anything different than what most people would normally do. You just, knowing you could get away with anything and your day would just reset at the end, I think most of us would probably do some of the things that he did.
I'm sure he did some unspeakable things just
off
camera.
100%. Now, let me just go around the class here real quick and ask. Dylan, how many days do you think it would take before you start doing some really depraved things?
I mean, I don't know. Considering those actions and thoughts don't normally occur to me, it'd probably take at least a year.
A year?
Probably.
365 days before you start doing some really depraved shit?
Are you really surprised by this answer?
True enough, you are a notorious liar. Tanner, how many days do you think it would take you?
Honestly, I probably would go after, maybe the third or fourth day.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Jesus.
Because, if I don't go straight for the depraved shit, then I'm because I know, the depraved shit definitely won't break the time loop. Mm-hmm. So, I might as well get that out of the way ahead of time.
What are we considering as depraved? I'm trying to clarify. I'm trying to see if we're talking about the same stuff here.
All right, we're trying to speed run this. Let's not dig too deeply into this topic.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say maybe 15 days. I think it would take me a bit of time just because I'd want to be really careful just in case. I do something really bad and then I end up in jail,
Yeah, you're on camera. This is an act. People are actually waiting for you to do some dog shit so they can arrest you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'd really want to test the waters a little bit first, maybe just bash a guy over the head with a bottle or something before I start really diving into driving an ambulance through a hospital or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, about the movie, I think it's okay overall. I like the concept of the repeating time loop. Acting's alright. I'm not a super big fan of the cheesy ending of him just becoming a better person and suddenly he's thrust out of it. I don't really care for the ending that much. It was an alright movie for me in the end. I don't really have a ton of complaints, but I also really don't have a ton of positives for it.
I mean, Bill Murray's character development is the entire purpose of it, though, Jackson. The reason that he's basically in this loop is because he's a really fucking shitty person, and he needs to learn how to...
I know. I wasn't really that gripped by it, is what I should have said, I guess.
Gotcha, okay, gotcha.
I just didn't really care that much.
Gotcha.
Why do you think it was that you just didn't really care about it? Was there anything in particular that was putting you off by it?
I don't really feel like he was he was acting like a fucking haughty asshole at the start. I don't feel like he was that bad. I don't feel like he was bad enough to deserve to be sent to a fucking time loop to recorrect his character. Specifically the stuff he was doing prior to being in the time loop. I don't think he was that awful. Especially the way he was talking to people. He was kind of snarky, but was trying to be funny about it. So I didn't even really see him as that much of an asshole until he was getting out of the car in the middle of the snow to help scream at people to fucking move they can.
Yeah.
I was okay, he's a little unruly there, but I didn't really see it in the end. And then I wasn't a super big fan of the progression of him becoming a better person. It seemed a little arbitrary. What actually got him to leave. It was basically he attended the final night and everybody thanked him and then he left. I don't know.
Well, I mean, as far as like the ending goes, like by that point he was like truly living a selfless life. Like, he wasn't, you know, he wasn't greedy or anything like that anymore. He was fucking just like giving all his money away and shit like that, you know. He was like when the lady wanted to like go and do stuff with him, he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I really can't do that. I already made like some prior commitments, gotta run some errands, gotta like help out these people. You know how it is. So I totally get that as far as the ending goes. At the beginning of the movie, I can definitely see what you're saying, though. He isn't like that bad. At the same time,
like, he was like some.
That's only if you interpret this as like a punishment or something, and not just some random fluke that happened to him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming it's some punishment for him, you know, being a bad person. I don't really know why else. I don't think it'd just be some random person getting stuck in this for no reason. Like, clearly it was something that triggered him getting out of it. So I'm pretty sure he was put into there for a reason as well.
Yeah, I
So
also
like,
definitely don't.
Person.
Yeah, I also definitely don't like thinking of it from the idea of like it's a random event going on, because if it's just like totally random, then like what's saying that like his like character progression ending the whole thing not being just entirely random happenstance as well.
Well, yeah, I think that actually is also the case. I don't know if there's any specific actions that we can definitively say, okay, this is what ended the time loop.
Honestly, that kind of proves my
like,
point with what I was saying with how the ending seems kind of arbitrary with what got him out. Like, I know like it was because he was like fully like a good person, selfless and all that stuff, but like he was acting that way previous to it as well.
I don't think that's true, actually.
I mean, that seems to be what the movie's implying the ending to be.
Yeah, it's 100% seems to be what's going on there. Are you saying it's just a coincidence that that's when it ended?
No, I just think it's very ambiguous what it was, because we see him, because like what are the things that happen on the final day? He's like selfless and he like gets with the girl, but we've seen him do both of those things on previous days.
Yeah.
It's like a combination of everything, I guess, which is why I'm saying it seems like arbitrary, because like all the previous days he was also shown being like a really good person and trying to better himself and do all these good things. Like, why is it that specific day is the one? Like, it's like the culmination of everything. I don't fucking know.
Well, yeah, perhaps by this point he's truly living selflessly. He's there's no like idea in his mind where it's like, well, maybe this is what'll get me out. You know, he just doesn't care about any of that stuff at this point. He's just trying to do what he can to better other people's lives. Or maybe the car salesman guy, the life insurance dude, was Satan all along, and he was just trying to get this guy to buy all of his insurance, and that's what finally broke it.
I don't think the idea of being fully selfless is good in and of itself anyways, so I'm against this movie from a fundamental level. Anyways.
Cringe.
Anything else to say, Dylan? What's your opinion on this movie? I haven't really talked much.
I mean, I was basically just gonna say what Nico was gonna say. I've watched movies with a plot that's like, oh, we're teaching you to be a good person, and the person is doing good deeds up until a certain point. They're like, oh, I guess you really are a changed person. And then, like, the character thinking they're getting away with it turns around and goes back to doing whatever their old habits were. And then, like, that entity was like, oh, I guess we were watching you. I guess you're gonna have to relearn your lesson. And then it has that, well, I think the ending was the way that it was. It had to be, like, completely 100%, you know, took himself out of the picture, was actually 100% selfless person, and not expecting anything in return, and just expecting his life to be that way the rest of his days.
Now let me also just say here real quick, boys, I fucking love time loops. I think that these are sweet. I think they're a great narrative device. Maybe starting to get a little overused nowadays because people realize just how crazy they are. But like, you know, as far as like the film that really popularized it, I'm a big fan of it. I enjoy them quite a bit.
Yeah, it's very good.
So what do we think about ratings-wise?
I'll give it like an A-.
Any other takers? What else are we thinking?
Well, you know, actually, you two go first. I have some closing thoughts.
All right, I think this movie's all right. I give it a B.
Oh, okay. In that case, I'll just give this movie an A+.
Were you planning on doing like an S+ before I said B? Tanner, go for it.
So Bill Murray, very funny. I think he does a great job being just an unmitigated asshole. I love how snarky and whatever.
I will say, I didn't realize just how much of a romantic comedy this film was going to be. Like, there was significantly more romance in it than I expected.
He's substantially older than this woman as well. This is weird. I'm creeped out.
Is he?
I'm going to give it a B-. Go on.
I don't really...
Is he?
I don't think it's that big.
They're
both grown adults.
I think Bill Murray just kind of looks old.
He does look like an old man.
Anyway, something I really like is how quickly they get into the time loop. It's like at the 30-minute mark or something. We're not spending just an inordinate amount of time setting up the actual plot. I think it's actually before 30 minutes.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's definitely before that.
Yeah, we hit the time loop the first time. I'm like, oh, they kept the exposition, the like setup of the town, like actually short, so we could get into what the real meat of this movie is quickly.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
In addition to that, one thing I was really surprised with was obviously they don't just reuse scenes, like how closely they were able to get the people to do exactly what they did before. I think that was like really good props towards the acting and everything.
I imagine they do reuse some scenes, Dylan. I think the outside shot where the car drives by and there's people
reused.
walking
I meant,
down,
like,
they
the
reuse
interaction
that
between
one.
the people.
Okay, well, yeah, the parts that are different.
Yeah, I'm gonna say like just one tiny thing in between that because I just remember that too. They waste a lot of your fucking time, like when they're doing the like the replay of the scene, and they just like do the exact same thing over again, and they just waste time. I was annoyed.
I
by
disagree.
that. I mean, it's a nitpick, but I was like, I don't fully fucking care.
I think they do a fantastic job of exploring the content. They kind of go all over the place. You know, he's selfish, he's killing himself, he's trying to be selfless, he's, you know, doing self-improvement things, this, that, and the other. They really use up the runtime here to explore the full breadth of this content, or concept, rather. So yeah, I think it's brilliantly paced, thoughtful, funny, and poignant. And frankly, I think that this is a perfect movie. I'm giving it an S+.
Hot damn.
There we go.
It's a really good movie. I did enjoy it quite a bit. And I'm happy
I was shocked at how much I liked it. I finished it, I was like, holy shit, I think that's a perfect movie.
Hot damn.
I really
Did it bring
like
a
you
tear
guys
to your eye at all?
I didn't cry.
Okay.
Oh.
Because I'm not a fucking woman.
I really let you guys sway my judgment. I was originally going to give this movie an S-.
Dude, why do you let us sway your judgment?
Be swayed.
Because
Let me sway you.
I'm always judged by my answers.
Let me sway your answer instead of these two, you know, chuckle nucks.
I did actually like this movie. I genuinely was gonna give it an S-. Like I thought it over a lot.
Then give it an S-.
You can change your mind, dude. S-.
S-, give it.
There we
There we
go.
go.
The thing.
All right, that actually bumped it up from an A to an A+ now.
There we go.
Perfect.